aim to structure your paragraphs thematically, okay? Each paragraph should be a unique way of proving your thesis. Now, some people like to do it through like the plot, like this is what happens in the beginning of the book. This is what happens next. This is what happens next. I am kind of not in favor of that. I'm very biased toward this. Aligning each body paragraph with a theme. Okay, if it's a character analysis, meaning the question's asking you about a specific character or specific characters, do a paragraph on each character, okay, and what they represent and what they convey and what ideas are being conveyed through them. But that's if it's specifically on a character analysis. Apart from that, I would answer it thematically and look at different themes, okay? Okay, so your argument should reflect your opinion of the text. I hope you guys can kind of see now how important personal voice is. How important having your own opinion of the text is, because it's coming up everywhere, isn't it? You should consider the ideas that interest you most in the text. You should consider purpose and context. Again, that's that idea about critical analysis, right? So everything's kind of combining, worlds are colliding. Okay, you want to think about your personal reaction to the text. Did you have an emotional reaction? Can you summarize it in a sentence? Okay, these are the things you want to talk about in your essay. So, these are kind of different samples of that, and what this is kind of like a nice activity. This will help you in your essay writing. This is something that you could literally kind of use in your essay when you do this. But this is a nice activity to do for after you study a text. Literally this. Write down what your text audience effect is on you. What the text taught you. So, Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen, for example, the practice of reading is portrayed throughout Northanger Abbey as a means of personal development and instruction, though not one without its flaws, okay? And list different audience effects, different things that the text can teach you. Why? Why would you want to do this? Well, because one, it helps strengthen your own ideas about the text, but also these can become theses. Yes, okay? These can become your thesis for an essay. If you're asked about the practice of reading, well, there you go. You have one straight away. You have a thesis ready to go, okay? So I've looked at Jane Eyre and The Handmaid's Tale. These are two different texts that a lot of people study in Year 11, so I thought those would probably be the most beneficial to look at. This is basically a sample essay structure that follows this theme. This structure. So most people do 3 body paragraphs. Some people do 4 body paragraphs. Completely up to you. So let's say you look at The Handmaid's Tale. Your first theme is on the relationship between state and individual bodies. The second theme is on complicity. The third theme is on the power of storytelling, and then your conclusion. For Jane Eyre, your first theme can be on conformity as a stifling self-discovery and growth. Theme 2 can be on the conflict between love and autonomy. And then theme 3 can be on the social classes. And then your conclusion. Okay? Sample essay structure. Now, the biggest thing another big thing, there's a lot of big things we've covered, but another big thing that you want to have in your essays is a through line. Okay? And I know I've mentioned this in my January prelim lecture as well earlier this year, and my apologies if you've heard me say this before, but to recap, and for those who haven't heard it before, in your writing you want to have a through line. So what that means, the example I always use, and you're probably going to hear me say this a whole bunch more if you come to my lecture series, because this is something that we continuously need to know. Let's say I got asked a question. This is going to be really random, but let's say my essay question, I sat down in prelims and the essay question was, is ice cream yummy? Okay, just bear with me, okay? I know this is random, bear with me. Or let's say the question, it's a statement. Ice cream is yummy. Do you agree or disagree? Let's say I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, yeah, ice cream is yummy. I do like ice cream. And I need to develop an argument, right? And a thesis. Well, my thesis is ice cream is in fact yummy. Body paragraph 1 is going to look at chocolate ice cream and say, yeah, chocolate ice cream is yummy. Body paragraph 2 is going to be on vanilla ice cream and say vanilla ice cream is yummy. Body paragraph 3 is going to be on mint ice cream and say, yeah, mint ice cream is yummy. And I'm kind of using each flavor to prove my argument. Bear with me. I know this is weird, but bear with me. Can you see how even though the question didn't ask about chocolate ice cream or what else did I say? Vanilla ice cream, I think, and mint ice cream, it wasn't asking about those specific flavors. Can you see how they still relate to my idea and how they're still kind of like sub points of my overarching thesis, which is ice cream is yummy? Okay. That's because I have a through line. The through line is that ice cream is yummy, right? That's my thesis. I'm proving it's relevant to all my arguments. That sounds really obvious. You're probably thinking, duh, Chloe, like, duh, isn't that obvious? No. Okay, that's something that I give feedback on a lot because it might sound really obvious, but when you have really complex ideas like we see in front of us here, they become harder to string together. In that example I just gave about ice cream, you can say, all right, you can see how vanilla ice cream and mint ice cream link together. Those separate arguments, separate body paragraphs, but they still link together. How does the relationship between state and individual bodies and the power of storytelling link together? Can you see how that might be a little bit more tricky to link? We need a through line, okay? And it becomes especially difficult in exams because what often happens in exams is students sit down and they look at the question and they go, oh my gosh, okay, I need to have 3 arguments that link together, that link to this question here, all right? This argument I know, this argument I could use, this argument I could use. And they kind of have these 3 distinct arguments. And then they forget to link those 3 arguments together, or 4 arguments, depending on how many you write. 4 arguments, 3 arguments together. Okay? So remember, and that has to be your thesis. Your through line is your thesis. It needs to be linked all throughout. Please remember that.